Here's the truth behind the Yankees trade deadline. Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. If you love the Yankees but you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe, especially fun we kept up to date with the latest New York Yankees news or just for plain old New York Yankees discussion. All right, the trade deadline has come and gone. Did the Yankees do enough? Is this team good enough to win the World Series? Well, here's what they did at the deadline. They acquired Mark Leiter Jr., who has the highest K per nine out of anyone in the Yankee bullpen over his last 7 appearances prior to the trade. They were all scoreless outings. I like the trade, but it did take a top 30 prospect in Jake Neely and a position player, Ben Cowles, who had over an 800 OPS down there in Somerset. But the reason why it took so much to get a guy like Leiter, who has over a 4 ERA, is because the prices out there for relievers were incredibly steep. And Mark Leiter Jr., according to Baseball Savant, the kid's good. And the kid's been pretty good over his last stretch of games. So I like the trade, but it did take a little bit to go and get him. The Yankees also acquired Enyel De Los Santos from the Padres. Now, he has a 4.46 ERA, but he ranks 22nd in the MLB in K per nine. However, he also has allowed 2.45 home runs per nine, which is the worst amongst any reliever in Major League Baseball. I look at it like this. The Yankees went and got a guy who would have been DFA'd anyway. You acquired Scott from the Marlins. You also acquired Hoeing from the Marlins. So you had to make room for both of those guys, and De Los Santos most likely would have been DFA'd anyway. So the Yankees instead jumped in front of the waiver wire and said, hey, we'll give you a little something for De Los Santos instead of you guys passing him through waivers, and then we may not even have the chance to even claim him. So I kind of look at it, even though it was a trade, I kind of look at it as a waiver claim more than a trade because they were going to DFA him anyway. The Yankees just went out, leaped the line, jumped the line, and traded for him. The Yankees, obviously, we all know the other move. A few days prior to the deadline, the Yankees went and acquired Jazz Chisholm. Now, Chisholm, prior to the trade, hitting 249, 13 home runs, 50 RBI with a 730 OPS. He comes in, plays 4 games for the Yanks, hits 4 home runs. His OPS is under 800 right now. I mean, I was okay with the trade. I understood it. Right, I did understand it, but his OPS was a little low, 730. But I did understand the trade. He's a different kind of player than what the Yankees have. And now it seems like he's embracing his role and he's embracing third base. The kid looks really good over there. So I love the trade. I know that's kind of in hindsight. I get it. But so far, it's working out great. And back then, too, a few days ago when they made the deal, I was a fan of it there, too. But that's all the Yankees did at the deadline. Was that enough? Well, some of these players netted a lot of prospects in a trade. And Tanner Scott, the Marlins got a king's ransom for Tanner Scott. They traded away 3 of their top 5 prospects in their system. Their number 2 ranked prospect, 4 ranked prospect, and 5 ranked prospect. And also an additional prospect. 2 pitchers, 2 position players. That would be the equivalent of the New York Yankees trading Spencer Jones, Roderick Arias, Chase Hampton, and pitcher Cade Smith. In my opinion, you're not moving that kind of a package for Tanner Scott and another bullpen guy with control. You're not doing that. Good on the Marlins for getting that kind of package for Tanner Scott, a 2-month rental. But in my opinion, Cashman did a good job staying away from Scott because the price was incredibly high. How come Jack Flaherty is not a New York Yankee? Now, a lot of people, Ken Rosenthal himself reported on this, saying that the Yankees did not trade for Jack Flaherty because they were scared of his medicals, that there was an agreement to bring Flaherty to the Bronx, but they were a little scared of his medicals. They decided to not do the trade. Well, according to Brian Cashman, here's the truth behind that. According to Cashman, that was not the case. The fact of the matter is this: the price was way too steep for him. Now, if the Yankees wanted to go and get Jack Flaherty, they would have had to part with a combination of George Lombard or Brandon Mayea and their 22nd ranked prospect in, I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong, but Edglin Perez. That might have been too much for Cashman to part with for Jack Flaherty. George Lombard or Mayea might have been too much for a 2-month rental. I'll leave it at that. And Yandy Diaz, the Rays wanted 3 to 4 prospects for him. Listen, at the end of the day, did the Yankees do enough at the deadline? I don't think they did. I'm not confident in them when it comes down to a playoff series and if they could even beat the Astros in the playoffs or the Guardians in the playoffs. However, the market was incredibly, incredibly expensive to a point where you would have had to trade away most of your top 5 prospects in order to get a guy like Tanner Scott. That's way too steep for me. And I don't blame Cashman for not doing that. But you let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think Brian Cashman absolutely dropped the ball this deadline? Let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Joe, and until next time, signing out.